So moving on from the last video, we started to create our dog profiles. So we're ready for the next step in building our account, which is to start making groups. So you can probably safely assume that groups are just a collection of dogs. Okay, so in the doghouse, if you click on the groups tab, you'll see we don't have a group yet. So let's just go ahead and add one. So at the top right, just tap add group. So the information here is pretty standard. You just need to supply a name of the group, a start time and end time, assign a colour and any dogs you want. Okay, so we'll call this morning group and it'll go from 9 AM to 11 AM. We'll just assign a colour and then we'll just assign 3 dogs. Okay, so again, very straightforward. Once you're finished, just click the check mark at the top and you'll see here you have created a group. Simple as. Okay, so let's go back to the doghouse. So you'll see here, if we go back to groups, we can see our newly created morning group. Alright, so go ahead now and add all your groups for all your clients, for your morning walks, afternoon walks, solos, whatever it is you do. Alright, so now that we've added a group, I want just to talk a little bit about relationships. So relationships are basically just information you can enter about 2 specific dogs. Okay, so if we go to relationships and click add relationship, we'll be taken to a page where we've got sort of 2 rows of all our dogs. So there's 2 types of relationships, positive and negative. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what a relationship looks like. So we'll select Autumn and Dougal and we'll say are good friends. Okay, so once we've created a relationship, again, just hit that check mark at the top and our relationship has been created. So see here the message says this relationship will now flag on events where both dogs are grouped. So if we go back to our doghouse and we now click on relationships, you'll see here that our newly created relationship between Autumn and Dougal has been added. Okay. So if you go to the groups, what you'll now see is there's a little love heart symbol. Now that just indicates that you have a positive relationship. So if we go ahead and create, say, a negative one between Miley and Shiloh, and we'll just say have not met and just create that. And go back to our groups. So we haven't actually assigned Shiloh to that group. So let's go into the group that we just created. Now the first thing you'll notice here is your flagged relationships are now starting to show. That didn't show previously because we hadn't actually created a relationship yet. So if you take out either Autumn or Dougal, this relationship will disappear from your group. If you add it back in, or add Autumn back in, you'll see the positive relationship show. If I add Shiloh in, you'll see the negative relationship between Miley and Shiloh. Now this is quite useful if you maybe ad hoc a walk and you forget about 2 dogs that don't get along. So if you want to know more about it, you just tap on the relationship and you'll see here that all the information you previously entered about these 2 dogs and their relationship now shows. Okay, so we'll just amend that group. Okay, and go back to our doghouse. And you'll see here in the group section that we've got 1 love heart and 1 sort of warning. So that just kind of gives you a UI overview of the relationships in that group. Alright, so in the next video, what we're going to look at is the calendar.